We're continuing our series called Get Real. And as followers of Jesus, we need to get real with what we say we believe about Jesus. This past Wednesday, we looked at how we need to get real about caring for others. We did a simple activity where each person shared words of encouragement with each other. Everybody had a piece of paper and they had their name on it, and then they passed it to the right in a circle, and everybody had a chance to write a word of encouragement or love on that piece of paper. And it went over really, really well. I encourage you to try it sometime. Whether you're walking down the halls of your school or you're sitting in your office at work or wherever you are, look around you and see if you can find positive things to say or do for the people around you. This is all good, but I really believe that Jesus wants us to go further with caring for others. I'm standing in our church library, and there are a lot of books in here about God, about how we need to follow Jesus better. There's a lot of information in the pages of these texts. You know, I could read every one of these books and gain a lot of information, but that information is not important unless I can put it into action. Author and scientist Isaac Asimov said, "The saddest aspect of life right now is that science gathers knowledge faster than society gathers wisdom." Although Asimov was speaking about the grand collective of science and society, knowledge does tend to come easier than wisdom. The same applies with us. Wisdom is the appropriate use of knowledge. It is truly putting action to what we know about God. So, when you read about God in books, or you go to the Bible and you study it, you will see that the central theme of Jesus is love. The great commandments. Jesus said the greatest commandment of all is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. But then he said, right under that, that the second greatest is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. We need to get real about putting these truths into action. Sadly, in today's society, the name Christian has gained some bad publicity. Christian now seems to equal other words such as judgmental or hypocritical or even unloving sometimes. This is bad news because Jesus made it very clear how we are supposed to be. Jesus said in the book of John chapter 13 verses 34 through 35, he says, "I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." Are you a disciple of Jesus? Are you showing it through your actions? Yeah, we may disagree with people. We may not even approve of some people's actions. I don't even approve of my own actions sometimes. But it is how we encounter the people that we disagree with that leads them to not see love in us. And if you want them to know that you are a follower of Jesus, then they must see love in you. So, encounter them differently. Encounter them the way Jesus would, with unrelenting love. The person that wronged you, unrelenting love. The thief or murderer in jail, unrelenting love. The hypocritical church leader, unrelenting love. The homosexual community, unrelenting love. The Muslim, the Hindu, the Buddhist, or anybody else with a different belief than you, unrelenting love. That's the way Jesus did it. There are many ways we can care about others. We can just use a word of encouragement. We can do community care projects. We can break through the wall of disagreement. We can take the steps to mend relationships. We can pay it forward. There's a business in town called O'Doggies, and they have witnessed firsthand a community of care through people paying it forward. Here's an interview I did with the owner, and he's a friend of mine, Cory. Check out this interview. All right. Well, I'm standing here with Cory at O'Doggies, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Pay It Forward. What does that mean, Pay It Forward?
Pay It Forward, it actually began about a week after we even started business last year. And what that means is someone will come and they'll decide after they buy their meal that they want to pay a meal forward. In other words, they want to buy a meal for the next person that comes up, or sometimes they'll specify maybe for one of our college students or something like that. So when that person comes up to pay for that meal and we say, hey, it's a free meal today, they kind of look at us kind of strange, like, yep, someone wanted to bless you with a meal today, so free meal. And that's what Pay It Forward is someone's paying for someone else's meal.
Okay, well, you give me a lot of information about what it is. Can you give me a specific example? Has that happened recently, or does that only happen every once in a while?
Oh yeah, it'll happen several times a week actually. Actually, our first one that we got to do, we had a couple show up and they had a bad string of luck. They'd had car problems, had a flat tire, spent their last money on getting their tire fixed, and they had just seen our stand and they said, well, let's get some hot dogs. So they were going to split a meal, and then we told them that it was a free one. They were able to get 2 meals between the two of them, so things were starting to look up for them. Just as recently as yesterday, we had a student show up here and scraping pennies to pay for a meal, and once they started getting everything out, we're like, no, it's a free meal today. And I'm like, really? it's always an exciting thing whenever a student or a couple or anybody gets a free meal. We actually had 2 weeks ago. We recently started to where you could actually purchase meals to pay forward via online, and we had a gentleman from Tennessee pay for 10 meals online. So we got to give 10 meals in a row out to some customers of ours. So that's a pretty neat opportunity.
Cool. Well, it's a great, simple way to care for people.
Right, exactly.
And I should probably let you get going so you can serve this young man over here.
I can do that.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Can you imagine a world where everyone showed this kind of care? Can you imagine what it would be like if us as Jesus followers did something as simple as pay it forward all the time? So get real about caring for others. See you next week.